Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Boink Studios, and check us out on boinkstudios.com, where you can see all of our projects, past, present, and future. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and you are listening to Tom Clark's Main Event. This is episode number 84 of the podcast, and if you're joining us today for the very first time, we will bid you welcome. If you're coming back for a repeat visit, we say, hey, thanks for checking back in with us. And to all those involved, we will extend to you, as always, the customary laurel and a hearty handshake. Thanks for listening. Thanks for reading. Thanks for supporting. And hey, thanks for always being there, Doc. Episode 84. I'm so good at that intro now, dude, I can do that stuff in my sleep. Let me tell you what's on my TV, well, my screens right now. My TV is going, as always. And did you hear that? Going. Did you hear that? I'm so country. My son is country too. If any of you guys out there listen to Tom Clark's 30-Minute Fun Show, and how dare you if you don't, it's a barrel o' laughs. It's me and my 9-year-old, man. And he's so country. He's a little bit country. I'm a little bit rock and roll. There you are. Where was I? Oh, what am I watching? So, on the iPad, which I have mounted... Now, by the way, if I get my words out, I'm watching the replay of Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega from Wrestle Kingdom 12. And on my TV, I'm watching Bugsy McGraw from Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. Tommy Young is the referee. And he's working a jobber. I'm not sure who he's working. Not really sure. Isn't that an eclectic mix of matches to have on right now? Bugsy McGraw is going to win this match with a splash on the mat. You've got to be kidding me. Off the ropes, no less. Not off the ropes, but like bounce off the ropes and hits him with a splash. Something that like a 450-pound guy should hit. And he rubs Tommy Young's head as he leaves the ring. Your winner, Bugsy McGraw. Oh my God, where was I? Hey, welcome to the show, man. Glad you are with us. I'm trying to collect myself here. As I said, 2 entirely different shows happening right now. But that's kind of the thrust of this episode. And let's just get right down to it, shall we? This time, the main event is WWE versus New Japan. It's been ramping up, man. And I'm not saying that something's coming down the pike. I'm not saying a cross-promotional war is brewing, anything of that nature. I mean, anything can happen. Right? It's 2018, man. Anything can happen. It's the wrestling business. Who knows what the future holds? But if you've been watching WWE, you know that they are very aware of New Japan. And this is a company that doesn't ever talk about the competition on the air. Like ever. But here's the thing. When you're in Vince McMahon's world, he doesn't really have competition. He is his own biggest competition, you know what I mean? Like fighting the uphill fight, working against himself or working within his company to get better. And, never stopping, never slowing down to catch your breath because, he who hesitates dies, right? So if you ask Vince if he has any competition, he would likely say no. But as Wrestle Kingdom unfolded and now it's upon the world, I believe that Wrestle Kingdom, that New Japan has brought all these extra eyes to the product that maybe were not on it before Jericho versus Omega, but now all these people have watched who maybe never gave New Japan a shot. And if you listen to episode 83, you know that it was Wrestle Kingdom 12. It was yours truly, my own personal coverage of Wrestle Kingdom 12. So there you are. Good for you if you listen to it. If not, go download it, man. It's available for download today. Oh my God. It was fun. It was a fun show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And like I said, man, that, here's the thing. New Japan bringing new eyes to the product, okay? People maybe who never gave it a chance before. And as New Japan is working to gain a foothold in the States, then you have to know that that's a dog digging in the backyard of the biggest dog, and that's WWE. Took a long time to get that out, but you get the point, right? That's what they're doing. It's like back in the day when you had one promotion ran a certain territory. Another promotion didn't come in that guy's backyard. He knew better. It's not how you did business. It wasn't good business to do that in the first place, because you just confused the fans, and fans couldn't differentiate between the products, and plus you get your legs broke more than likely, because that's how it was run back in the day. But I believe that Vince McMahon feels that they can take on anyone at any given time and thoroughly trounce them, just defeat them, just crush them under the heel of their boot, because they've done it before. They've done it so many times, man, right? That even if anyone in that company considered New Japan a threat in any form whatsoever, then it would be addressed, but they would never admit it. But that they know New Japan exists. If they didn't know before, if it was any way possible, that they know now, thanks to Chris Jericho. They're talking about it on the air. They've mentioned Japan. They don't say New Japan for the most part. They say Japan. They've put Finn Balor back together with Anderson and Gallows. Isn't it funny how those three were put back together like 10 minutes after Jericho and Omega at Wrestle Kingdom? Isn't that funny how the timing of it was just, it's impeccable, isn't it? As Sir Oliver Humperdinck is interviewed by one Bob Caudle on Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. I'm telling you, man, it's a very different shift in ideologies here, the two matches I'm watching, or the two programs I'm watching. And maybe that's the thrust, like I said before, this program, man. Maybe that's what we're talking about right now, is one-man gang enters the scene and devours everything in front of him. But you have the established competitor, and then you have this upstart who is, and I say upstart, but New Japan's been around for a while. You guys get that right. I'm just saying. But again, it's in one company sniffing around another company's backyard, and that's what it is. But again, Balor Club being formed almost, the timing, come on, man. Fans are a lot of things, but for the most part, fans aren't stupid. I say for the most part because people as a whole are stupid. We can all agree on that, right? For the most part, people are morons. A person individually is not a moron, hopefully. But people, as in plural, as in together, as in a society, a gigantic number of morons. And if you don't believe that, just look at the monkey they put in the White House. I'm going to make that joke till I'm dead or until he's out. God help us all. You know what I'm saying? I'm just done with it. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. But people aren't stupid. They know what's going on. They know the deal. Finn Balor's put back together. Corey Graves goes live on WWE television and says that they're trying to be the elite force, that they're often imitated, never duplicated. Direct shot in the face of Bullet Club. There was that one point, it wasn't too long ago either, where WWE was supposedly trying to get Bullet Club to stop using the 2 Sweet. Said that was their thing. You can't do that hand thing. It's our thing. We did it first. Actually, you didn't. Hall and Nash did it first. And then they came back to work for you again, and you kind of now say that you own it, which is complete and utter nonsense, by the way. It didn't last long. They're still using it. Then it filters down from there, right? Cody not being allowed to use the name Rhodes, which is I can't even wrap my head around that. It's one thing, the Dudley Boys going to TNA and can't use the name the Dudley Boys, even though they were the Dudley Boys before they ever got to WWE. But they had to become Team 3D. We're Team 3D. Brother Ray. Right? And Brother D. Come on. You know what I mean? Like, we all know. Stop. It just seems like something petty. And then reversed gears just a bit, where TNA Impact or Global or whatever the freak they're calling themselves now, but prevented Matt Hardy from using a character that he created, but prevented him from using that character in WWE until just recently when Broken Matt Hardy became Woken Matt Hardy. Hey, call him what you want. If he's doing the same shtick, it's cool with me because that stuff gets over and I'm all for it. But do you see the little nonsense that goes on between companies? Now, you can't fault a company for wanting to hold on to, ideas, intellectual property that it can make money off of. That's why when you go to WWE, for the most part, you end up changing your name. And if you don't change your name, then you adopt a nickname or a nickname's given to you that they can copyright and then make money off of it because they got to sell t-shirts. You got to sell toys. They got to sell stuff online. Just a lot of merch, man. You get a cut of that, but it's like, I've always heard it's minuscule. Depending on who you are, I suppose. Maybe that's it. Maybe not. Who knows? But a lot of things are happening here in between this New Japan and WWE thing. And it's again, you would have to be blind or deaf to not see and hear this. I mean, it's obvious. New Japan, the guys can speak very openly about WWE. They have no problem doing that. They don't really bash it. Kevin Kelly made the comment at Wrestle Kingdom 12, you're only going to see this kind of action right here. But they said that back in the day in the NWA. Crockett Promotions, right? And you know what? That's what I would say. I would say, listen, you don't need to be turning your TV, man. You've got the best in the world on your TV right now. And do you remember the days of the NWA, by the way, where everyone on the show was putting over the company? I mean, does that even happen anymore? How many times do you hear people putting over WWE on WWE television? Except when John Cena gets in the ring and talks about how he loves the company and he loves the fans. Whether they love me or hate me, I love them. Whatever, man. But, that's really all you get now. But remember, once upon a time in the NWA, it was, I'm here in this company. I'm surrounded by Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes and the Horsemen, the greatest in the world, the best athletes in the world. I was about to do Dusty. Did you catch that? The best athletes in the world, baby. That's nice. It's great. I like that. I dig it. The best athletes in the world are performing right here. Or not performing, but, they're wrestling right here. They're working for Jim Crockett Promotions. It's the best in the world. And you don't really hear that anymore. So kudos to New Japan. Say it all day long. I'm cool with that. But again, they can talk very openly, very candidly about where a guy's been in the past. Maybe names that you knew him before or knew him as before he got to New Japan. Whatever the case may be. But again, man, there's a lot of... And it's really been ramping up. And I think it's ramped up between New Japan and WWE because of Chris Jericho. If nothing else, Jericho's match with Omega has sparked a lot of creative juices are flowing. Hey, if nothing else, Balor Club's together, right? I still don't know how I feel about it. Finn's smiling an awful lot, and I like Finn a lot, but the fans had no reason to like Anderson and Gallows other than, Gallows saying the word nerd. Like in Revenge of the Nerds. Remember Ogre and Revenge of the Nerds? We all know where that comes from, right? Nerds. But I mean, how is... You hear my chair? My God in heaven. This thing is... It's quite unwieldy, I have to say. It's almost impossible now. Again, the GoFundMe page for Buy Tom a New Chair. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming, man. Give till it hurts. But, yeah, man, no one really had a reason to like Anderson and Gallows and all that stuff. But now they kind of have to cheer for them, I guess. But then you booked them in the main event of Raw against Reigns, Rollins, and Jason Jordan because Ambrose is out. My God, this Shield reunion was a nightmare, wasn't it? I mean, if you really wanted to compare factions, you could have compared, the Shield and the Bullet Club. Can't do it now, really, because those guys can't stay healthy to save their life. When Dean gets back, is Seth due out again after that? Who knows, man. Thing, again, nightmare from top to bottom. Great in the beginning. Fell apart. Step by step, piece by piece, member by member. It's insane. But, when one door closes, another door opens. Jason Jordan, hello. Read that column, man. I wrote that on Bleacher. Go check it out. Go find it. I'll tell you how to find it later. It's easy, man. But yeah, I can't sit here and say that there are similarities that exist. Apart from the title belts and guys and gals that you've seen before, maybe in one company or the other company, that's kind of where the similarities stop. There's a ring, with 3 ropes and turnbuckles, but that's kind of it. And here's why I say that to you. WWE is performance. That's what they focus on. That's what they care about. WWE is all about, these guys are sports entertainers. They're not pro wrestlers. No. They're sports entertainers. In New Japan, they are pro wrestlers. And that's how they want to be known. That's how they want to be called. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with WWE too. I think it's nonsense. I've always thought that from the day Vince McMahon first said the word sports entertainment on TV. Jeez, what a day that was, right? Let's just tell the whole freaking world it's nonsense. Let's just let the cat out of the bag, make everybody smart to it. Great idea, dude. I'm not saying, right? I am saying, however. I didn't like that, didn't care for it as a fan. I still don't care for it, but it is what it is. Can't do anything about it now. What's done is done. There's sports entertainment. New Japan is pro wrestling. Now, here's where it starts to get fuzzy. Because the conversation doesn't end there. The conversation doesn't end with, well, New Japan is pro wrestling. WWE is sports entertainment. New Japan is so much better. Because let's don't forget that New Japan has its fair share of entertainment happening, of sports entertainment happening. A lot of nonsense in New Japan. A lot of nonsense that happens in that country with pro wrestling. Okay, the blow-up dolls, the kids in the ring, the invisible man. I mean, just, one stupid spot. Now, Kota Ibushi's guilty of it too. Go look it up. It's not just Omega that's guilty, man. It's Kota also. Come on. A lot of those guys did it. And joke wrestling is alive and well. I don't know why. I hate it. I despise it. I defy anyone to tell me it's best for business. I don't believe that. I don't believe a word of that. And I'm not trying to rip Triple H off there either. I don't believe a word of that. I don't think it's a good idea. I still don't. I never will, to be honest with you. Comedy's great in very small doses. Comedy was not meant to carry a wrestling match from start to finish, because wrestling is not supposed to be that. My opinion. People can hate on Jim Cornette all day long. I got Jim's back on a lot of stuff he says. Maybe not all, because he goes too far, in my opinion, when he wishes death on people. Let's calm down, Jim. It's just pro wrestling, right? But at the same time, on his other points, I do happen to agree with a lot of them. I'm just saying. But again, I can't say that there's similarities between the two. I can't say that. And I don't want to get off on too many not wrong tracks, but side tracks here or whatever. I can't say there's a lot of similarities. But don't forget what I just said about New Japan having elements of sports entertainment. There's a lot of comedy. There's a lot of haha going on in New Japan. And some on shows more than others. But you know what's not on New Japan? Another plus for that company? Long-winded promos. Because no one likes a long-winded promo. Yes. We hate it. We despise it. We loathe it with all our being. Long-winded promos never did anybody any good anytime ever. Okay? Long-winded, pointless promos. Where the guys in the ring, whether it's Shane or Stephanie or Vince or Triple H or whoever, has to stop and recognize the crowd who's booing them or who's chanting someone else's name or is chanting, "This is boring." They have to actually stop and recognize it so they can let the crowd let their energy out. Then they'll shut up for a second while they continue their long, pointless diatribe, which means nothing to no one and we'll all forget about in 10 seconds any freaking way. So yeah, not a lot of talking in New Japan. Guess what? Ding ding. There's your winner, folks. If you don't want talking, if you don't want to watch a wrestling show and the first thing that happens is a 20-minute promo, New Japan's the company for you because they don't do that. They'll have previews before, like on the big shows like Wrestle Kingdom. They previewed the feud that's getting ready to come up in the match like WWE does, like any good company does. And it's perfect. Make a lot of, the video packages were good. But it wasn't about a guy getting in the ring with a mic and just staying there for a half hour, boring you to tears. They do some of that after the matches, but it's over. Match is over. And they don't really get any time to talk that much anyway, so a little bit's okay. A little goes a long way, folks. You guys know that, right? Just saying. Now I'm watching Rufus R. Jones. I'm in Atlantic Wrestling. Meanwhile, Jericho's flat on his back through a table on the outside of the ring. Crazy stuff, man. But, if you don't like the talking, if you don't like those long-winded promos that makes you want to go hang yourself in the closet, then New Japan's the company for you because they don't waste a lot of time. They get straight to the match. And then there's the fact that New Japan has some of the best talent in the world. WWE does as well. WWE doesn't get enough credit at times, I believe. Seth Rollins is one of the best in the business. He's arguably the best hand in that company. And that's hard to say sometimes because AJ Styles is there, and I love me some AJ Styles. But no one can take away from Seth. Seth is a workhorse. AJ is amazing. And I've had the conversation with people like very recently, as a matter of fact, my belief that Kazuchika Okada is the best talent in the world, best worker in the world by far. And then, well, no, what about AJ? I'm like, God bless. Okay, you're right. AJ's make a huge case for being best in the world. Shinsuke Nakamura, on his worst day, can make a case for being best in the world. I don't know if Shinsuke gets enough credit as he deserves because Shinsuke's greatest matches have come against the greatest talents in the world. Against AJ, against Tanahashi. I mean, that's sort of where I'm coming from on that. And I love Nakamura. I do. I think he's entertaining. He's one of the most innovative characters, of the past 20 years, in my opinion. He's combined several elements from several different things, from several different places, from several different walks of life outside of the business. And he's managed to incorporate all those into a very entertaining character that it's hard for you to take your eyes off of. I still think the watered down version of WWE is not working for me too much, but you know what? It is what it is. Okay? Let the man make a living. Don't crush him too hard. Seriously. But, yeah, man, the similarities, the differences, they're all there for you to see. And, Okada, in my opinion, let's get to the talent. Okada, in my opinion, best in the world. And again, WWE doesn't get enough credit for its top guys, for how good they really are. New Japan is recognized for having some of the best wrestlers in the world. WWE is recognized for having some of the most entertaining wrestlers in the world. And I think that's one of the biggest differences. But you know what? That could be hair splitting too. That could be just us sitting back, compare and contrast every 10 seconds. And maybe it's enough to make you go crazy. Who knows? But I just find it funny that New Japan's been there for a good long time. But it's just now that this is starting to happen. And talk about comparing and contrasting the talents. While we're on the subject, let's talk about Omega. Let's talk about Omega and specifically Reigns. Roman Reigns on the new WWE Network show Straight to the Source. STS. I don't know. Hosted by Corey Graves, who I just wrote a piece on, by the way, that you can check out on Bleacher Report about how Corey Graves' heel antics are a distraction on commentary. They are, in my opinion. That's another topic for another time. Let's get back to the lecture at hand, right? But Roman Reigns is interviewed, by Corey Graves, and Reigns says he's the best in the world, the best in-ring performer today. Well, my colleagues at Bleacher Report got an interview with Kenny Omega. Kenny was quoted, and I quote, "I don't know if Roman was put up to saying a comment like that from a social media team, or if it was something that he consciously thought of himself, but I thought it was pretty smart of him to say that, because it became instantaneously a topic that people were talking about. And just because it sounds so ridiculous, you know what I mean. By no means do I actually think he believes in those words. There's no possible way." Okay. This is where the macho flexing starts coming into play. We are talking about a sport dominated in large part by men. By men who have testosterone by the truckload. Oh my God, right? It's a bunch of big sweaty dudes, beating the living crap out of each other in the middle of a wrestling ring. That's as caveman can get. You know what I mean? That's like, we have a difference in opinion. Let's hit each other in the head with a rock. I mean, that's what pro wrestling is essentially. Do you know what I'm saying? And of course there's going to be macho grandstanding. That's what pro wrestlers do. Steve Austin said so many times, if you are not in the business to become the world champion and work the main event, then you are wasting everyone's time, including your own. He believes that. I do too, to be honest with you. I always have. So I'm good with Roman saying that. I don't believe it either. But for Kenny Omega to say that Roman doesn't believe it either, that's nonsense. Roman does believe it. Even if the line was fed to him, which it may have been, you know he believes it. You know he feels it. This is a guy that's main evented. What is it? What are we up to now? 4 WrestleManias in a row for Roman Reigns? Jesus. Oh, baby Jesus. That's good stuff. I mean, it's crazy because it makes everyone crazy. And I've written about how I disagree with it in the past. I've written about my views on it. And you've read a lot of stuff from me and from a lot of other guys out there. And you can call it hate, and some people make it more personal and take it to a much more vicious level than I ever would, okay? And of course they're going to, because some people are just unprofessional. But you know how everyone feels about Roman. It was handed to him. He didn't work to get it. He's been handed everything. It's given to him. He is the golden boy. Okay? That kind of thing. You've all heard it. Everyone's heard it. Okay? Kenny's heard it too, and he probably believes it, as a matter of fact. What else did Kenny say about it? I don't have to feel, and I quote, I don't have to feel like I have to speak up about it. It is what it is. And I understand that it's a fun thing for fans to generate interest in the product. I take absolutely zero offense in him saying it, especially since it's quite clear that the fact of the matter is much, much different. Okay. Jeez. Again, this is macho grandstanding. This is, chest beating, 2 silverback gorillas in the wild trying to establish their territory. Omega's doing the same thing. Anyone, and you know what? This is nothing different than what NFL guys do or what NBA players do. Everyone believes they're the best. If you don't believe you're the best, you got no business playing the game. That's the truth. In any walk of life, I don't care what your chosen profession is. If you don't feel that you are the best, then why are you in that profession? I mean, even if the whole world is telling you one thing, as long as you keep working hard and keep proving yourself, then you have to have utter confidence in your own abilities, in your own talents, in your own work ethic. And Omega does. I mean, for as many times as Roman Reigns has main evented WrestleMania, Omega has, main evented in New Japan and more. And he's worked his way up. Has he earned it? I mean, by New Japan standards, I'd have to say yes. He may not have come up like a young boy. Maybe he did. I don't know enough about his particular background in terms of New Japan to know for sure. I know that I knew his name before his hair got long, and I saw him then. Do you know what I mean? I just thought, he wore trunks at the time, and I always remember thinking, this dude's got a great body. Got a great look. He's a little different around the edges. You know what I mean? But a lot of that came out, especially later on when Bullet Club started happening. And he turned heel and all that good stuff. So, yeah, that's cool. But, again, chest beating, macho grandstanding, the whole nine. I just find it funny how Omega's rebuttal to Roman Reigns is essentially the same thing Roman Reigns said about himself. Best in the world. Listen, guys, listen. All right. Whether you believe that Roman has earned it or not, and believe it or not, he's got fans out there that believe in him, that feel that he did deserve it, that he's deserved the right to call himself the best in the world. I'm not kidding you right now. It's the truth. Go look it up. Look it up. You'll be surprised. That's my best Patrick Warburton. You like that? I just started working on that, actually. It's a work in progress. Who knows? But, yeah, man, you got to believe that, again, Roman Reigns, coming from where he comes from, being booked the way he's being booked, and like I said, whether you believe he's the best in the world or not, you have to know that he's been put into such a position in that company that he would just about have to believe it at this point, don't you think? He would have to believe he's the best in the world at this point. Because he's had an entire company, the biggest pro wrestling company on the planet, with all this faith in him, all this confidence, all this support, all this booking, all this hype, all this promotion, into putting him at the top of the food chain, the last card, last match on the card, the whole nine. And that's what they've done. Oh my God, so many times. And he's got a lot more time left, too, Do you know what I mean? A lot more time left. WWE's not changing its mind. You better know this right now. As much as you don't like the fact, or maybe you don't, who knows what you believe. I mean, it's up to you, of course. But as much as a lot of people don't like the fact that Roman is, at the top of the pile, man, you have to believe that that's not going to change anytime soon, barring some gross misconduct on his part. Barring a serious injury, which we don't wish that on anyone here, you know that. Roman's going to be on top for a good long time. He's going to work Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 34, and he's going to pin him clean. He's going to kick out of probably 2 F5s and then pin him clean. You heard it here. You heard it here like a year and a half ago or something, but I'm just saying. Yeah, man. He's the man. And it's hard to fight that. It would be hard for anyone in his position to not believe his own hype. And listen, let's call a spade a spade. Roman Reigns is not a bad wrestler. Remember how people would defend John Cena, and you'd sit back and look and say, "You guys have got to be high. He's not good." Well, he wasn't good. Okay, I said that too. I said John Cena works his way through a match. He does not work a match, and there's a huge, vast amount of difference. And I stick to that, and I like John. I don't dislike him at all, but I stick to what I just said. I've always felt that way, and so have a lot of other people over the years, and that's the truth. And that's never changed. The other night on Raw, his name was mentioned, or was it Raw or SmackDown? I think it was Raw. His name was mentioned. He wasn't even there. Dude got booed out of the building. He wasn't even there. Listen, for as much ego as Shawn Michaels had at his worst, for as much nonsense that came out of that guy's mouth, for as many stunts as he pulled on TV and off TV, for as many times as he lied, for as many times as he showboated the whole nine, people ultimately do not hate Shawn Michaels. Why? Why? He's done nothing to deserve your love, but he can work. That is the common denominator for the most highly regarded talents ever. Roddy Piper is considered one of the best of all time. Held in high regard. Ric Flair, the GOAT, in my opinion. For real. Okay? Because of everything he did, because of everything he is and was, to the business, for everything he contributed. Best in the world. Hard to hate either one of those guys, right? Hard to hate Jake the Snake Roberts. I mean, I don't know how many people are sitting back calling Jake the Snake Roberts the best in the world, but he was arguably the best heel that there's ever been. That'd be tough compared to Flair and some other guys, but, at the same time, it's hard to argue that. It's hard to hate him. Okay? So why is that? Because Jake wasn't the best talent in the world. But was the best worker. But he could work. Fans could overlook that. It's hard to overlook Cena because it's so glaringly obvious. The dude's got 2 left feet. He's very athletic, but he's got 2 left feet. And of course, we're talking about a guy that's main evented how many WrestleManias? Crazy, man. I mean, main evented probably thousands of house shows. Main event events all over the world. Pay-per-view, you name it, he's done it. Okay? For real. But in my opinion, he never looked. All right, this is going to sound crude. I don't mean it to. If you ever watch a women's match and you see how the women run, they run the ropes. Now, not everyone. I'm not making a blanket statement, so relax. But you know how some women run the ropes. You kind of sit back and go, "Oh God, it's not very quick. It's not very. They're not hitting the ropes with a lot of aggression. Not all of them. I'm just saying." But that's kind of how I've always thought about John Cena. John Cena had potential to be the best talent, to be the best worker. And John Cena was a workhorse in terms of his stamina, his ability to pull off big moves and to wow the crowd in the middle of a match after they've already been wrestling for like 40 minutes or something, whatever it was. I mean, he's made a career out of doing that. You boo him going in, he gets a standing ovation at the end. That's who he is. But for anyone that says that's the case because it's fashionable to boo him, which is what Jim Ross has always said, that's utter nonsense. I don't subscribe to that. I never will. I just can't. It's not fashionable to boo John Cena. It was never fashionable. He got booed because people felt he couldn't work. And that he ran the same shtick all the time, which he did. He always did. Okay? For real. So that's the difference. Roman is not a bad worker. He's not a bad wrestler. He's not the best. No, he's not the best. Is he the best performer in the world? No, he's not the best performer in the world either. My humble opinion. But for me to sit here and say that he's garbage in the ring, that's not true. Because I have to look at it, and honestly from an honest perspective and from an unbiased perspective and say, absolutely, he's not the worst I've seen. I've seen some bad talent in the ring. And I use the word talent very loosely. Roman's not it. And Roman's got critics that, would like to do terrible things to him. But you know what? That's their deal. If you hate a guy because he's shoved down your throat, hate the company. Stop watching the product. For real. If it bothers you so much that you go on these anti-Roman, parades, this anti-Roman crusade, I should say, all the time, get a life, man. Now, by the same token, if you're one of these people that adore Roman to no end and he can do no wrong, well, that's not realistic either. I'm a huge CM Punk fan. I still am. I'm not going to lie and be ashamed about that to admit it. Not at all, man. But Punk has his flaws. Punk made a lot of mistakes. Punk ticked off the wrong people. Punk probably should have kept his mouth shut when the situation called for it. Punk did a lot of dumb things, as we all do. But I can admit that. You see what I'm saying? I'm not so close and connected to him as a superstar that I sit here and go, oh, no, he's okay, and like make excuses for him. I mean, that's easy. That's an easy trap to fall into, right? And a lot of people do it. I've done it before in the past with other guys too. But stop for a second, separate yourself from who you're pulling for, I guess, right? And just stop and recognize that what you're saying, or what you're seeing, you have to see in front of you. Roman is not the best wrestler in the world. But, he's saying, he didn't say best wrestler. Well, he can't. I mean, he can. But it's WWE. There's sports entertainers in WWE, man. You know I'm right too, right? He said the best in-ring performer. He didn't say wrestler. He said performer. There is a difference. Now, I don't like it. I said that. I don't like it. I think it's nonsense, the whole thing. But you know that he believes that. I don't think that was said to him at all. Listen, go out there and tell everyone how great you are. You know he said it. And I just know he meant it. I know he did. For real. So, yeah, you gotta, I don't know. You take it with a grain of salt because we all know that he's not the best in the world. But your opinion on best in the world is a purely subjective thing. I mean, PWI can release its top 500. And I think Okada was number one in the top 500, wasn't he? In that case, they got it right. Oh, I'm just kidding, baby. I mean, it is your point of view, but to me, Okada's the best in the world, just saying. But what else is going on between the two companies? Well, the little shots are taken. Kenny Omega and New Day and the Young Bucks started having a beef on Twitter. Remember that? Now, if you hear Kenny talk about it now, Omega's like, listen, we were all friends. We were friendly then, but we were having a lot of fun stirring the pot and seeing if perhaps we could get a cross-promotional match happening at some point. I didn't think that was going to be possible. Obviously, I was right. Would have been cool to see, but no chance, right? But, yeah, there's been several times that these two companies have crossed over in the past, and sometimes it's just merely whispers, sometimes not. It just depends. I'm all for it. I'm all for this. I love this kind of thing. I love it. One of the things that got people so excited about the Monday Night Wars, Monday Night Wars, baby. I'm just saying. It's late. What can you do? The thing about the Monday Night Wars, what people love about them the most, I believe, was the fact that there was competition. There was two different programs, two different companies to check out, to watch, to enjoy or hate, whatever the case may be. There was flavor. There was differences. There was different things to choose from. Two companies to decide which one you like better than the other. I mean, that's what makes pro wrestling great. That's what makes sports great. When you have the Yankees at one time who couldn't lose a game and were the best in the world, no one could touch them, that gets boring. You want teams to be competitive, right? Now, it's impossible for every single team in the league to be competitive, right? I guess on any given day, that kind of cliche, whatever. But you want competition. I mean, pro wrestling fans should want competition. They should want WWE to have someone, sticking the middle finger up in their face saying, you're not so bad. You're not so bad. We're pretty cool ourselves. And that's what New Japan is doing. But New Japan's doing it respectfully instead of, you can't use our hand gesture. That's our hand gesture. We stole it first. God, so stupid. So stupid. Doing the same thing to them that Impact Wrestling was doing to Matt Hardy. I mean, you know who suffers the most? Not the talent. Talent's going to get paid regardless of what happens. They call Matt Hardy anything, it wouldn't make a difference. He still gets his check. The people that hurt the most from it are the fans, because you're not making any new fans from that company that won't allow Matt to use the character that he created himself with no help from anybody. And you're sure not going to make any fans from WWE if they do the same thing to someone else, which they've done to Cody. It's hair splitting. It's nonsense. It's petty. You got to let stuff go. You got to move on. If a talent's left you, if Cody Rhodes, okay, all right. Dusty Rhodes was Dusty Rhodes long before he ever got to WWE, long before he ever got to the NWA, actually, or WCW, obviously. Cody Rhodes took his father's name. Cody Rhodes was Cody Rhodes before, I suppose, right? Before WWE. Now, you could sit there, I guess, if you want to, and tell me that WWE's making the case for we own the name because we made him famous or whatever, and he came up in our company as Cody Rhodes, whatever. And maybe they've got a case. Maybe they're right. But again, who suffers? Who suffers? Cody's not suffering. He's getting paid. Right? He's having the time of his life, living his dream. But the fans suffer because you're sitting back going, what? Cody? What? It's Cody Rhodes, you morons. That's who suffers. And when the fans have to suffer over something, that's just too much. It's too much. Don't be ridiculous with this nonsense, man, for real. Now I'm watching the aforementioned Kazuchika Okada on my screen as he takes on Tetsuya Naito in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom 12. I can't help it, man. I dig it. Hardcore. On the flip side, Dick Slater just won his match, gets a jobber. I don't know who it is. And Tommy Young's still your referee. Tommy Young never took a break on this show. I'm not kidding. By the way, go watch yourself some Mid-Atlantic Wrestling on the WWE Network. They just downloaded a whole bunch of new episodes, and I'm digging it hardcore. There's Paul Jones. I met Paul Jones much, much later in life. He was a quiet dude. Didn't say a whole lot to me, but it was cool. It's cool to be around. I got a picture with him and everything. But, yeah, man, I got to be honest with you. I'm having fun with this New Japan thing back and forth with WWE. I dig it. I'm good with it. I have no problem with it at all. Because there again, man, it's competition. Whether one company wants to say it or not, it is, in my opinion. It's flavor. Different flavor, right? It is what it is. And I'm okay with it. I'm good with it. Because I like different things. I like the fact that they're going to, one is very aware of the other. And I like that. I dig that a lot. And I have no problem with that whatsoever. Are we ever going to see New Japan versus WWE? No chance. No chance in hell. You want to know why? Because it goes back to the old system, the old idea of, well, my guy can't lose to your guy. He's my guy, and he's the guy. That's what would happen. So rest easy, folks. You're never going to see, Kazuchika Okada versus Randy Orton. You're never going to see, Tanahashi versus Seth Rollins. I mean, you're never going to see Bullet Club versus The Shield. You're not going to see any of this because they're not going to have a crossover. Now, again, you never say never. Never say never, Tom. It's pro wrestling. It's the business, right? I get that. I'm with that. I'm hip to that 100%. Anything can happen. You're totally right. Except for this. Because again, the old, my guy's not going to lose to your guy, and my guy can't lose to your guy here, there, whatever. Let's make every match a double count out, double disqualification. That way there's no winner. Call it even right down the middle. If they could, they'd do it because that's what they want. And that's why the super shows of the past failed. That's why the territories that were left after Vince McMahon started coming to power couldn't compete with him because they couldn't get along. Because it all went back to that nonsense. Oh, my guy can't lose to your guy. Stop and look at the bigger picture. If you're serious about joining forces and making a go of this, you got to forget about the way you did business before. This is now about the group, not about you as an individual promotion or territory. It's about you now working together to make a better future, to ensure you have a future not owned by Vince McMahon. Boom. You like that? It's the truth, man. But yeah, that's what would stop it from happening. So I don't ever see it happening. Do I see talents jumping ship back and forth? Well, I would say so. I wrote that column recently as well about my top choices. I said the Bludgeon Brothers. I said Dolph Ziggler. I said Daniel Bryan led the group. Goldust. And Curtis Axel. Those are my choices of guys that we could potentially see in New Japan. Still believe Daniel Bryan wants to wrestle. I believe that if he got a phone call right now saying, okay, the doc's cleared you, we're going to book you at WrestleMania, it'd make him the happiest dude on the planet. And we're talking about a guy that's recently married with a new baby, but I still think this would put him through the moon, man. And it should. He's a pro wrestler. Daniel Bryan's a pro wrestler. Hulk Hogan was a performer, was an entertainer. Daniel Bryan's a pro wrestler. Do you see what I'm saying? One has farther to fall than the other. And I'll leave that open to your interpretation. So, there you are. But, yeah, man. So, I see the possibilities are there. I mean, Juice Robinson, right? Who was CJ Parker in NXT. Made a whole new career for himself in New Japan. Happens all the time. Cody, reinvented himself. Happens all the time. And maybe not to that degree of success, but there's guys in New Japan that were, jobbers in WWE. And they're there, right? So yeah, anything's possible. Obviously anything is. But you have to be smart about this, man. I mean, I think we'll see talents jump back and forth. I think that's entirely possible. And probable even. But as far as everything else is concerned, I just don't see a war happening. Now, as we said before, New Japan has attempted to establish roots in the States. One of the ways that they've attempted to do that is by creating its own United States Championship. One of the smartest moves I've seen a pro wrestling company make in a long time, my man, a very long time. They're trying to get over here. They're trying to build themselves in the States. How else would you do it except with this United States Championship? I mean, I dig that. I'm for it. You put it on Omega because Omega is, not Japanese. He's not American. He's Canadian. But close enough, right? But you put it on him because you're trying to sell the company. You're trying to sell the company to fans in the United States. As I now see Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood. God, Jay, man. Look at that headdress. I'm getting off again on a tangent. My apologies. Go watch the network after you quit listening to this. It's good stuff. But, no, man, like I said, I dig this. I'm all for this. And yes, I could see guys jumping ship, going back and forth. Would I see New Japan guys coming to WWE? Shinsuke Nakamura made the jump. I still believe, for my money, the guy that could come over and make the biggest impact is Tanahashi. And this is a guy who's, you could even argue that Tanahashi's not in his prime anymore. I don't know if I feel that way or not, but I'm just throwing it out there. I'm sure a lot of fans do. Some anyway, right? But Tanahashi's a rock star. And that term has been used for pro wrestlers in the past. And I get it. It's something popular to say. Dude, Tanahashi is a flat out rock star. I mean, like, my God. If he showed up carrying a guitar case, you'd be like, that dude must be in like the biggest band on earth. I mean, for real. That's where he's at. So could I see him in Vince McMahon's ring? I think so. Again, anything's possible, right? So I think it's entirely probable. Not just possible, probable that WWE would sign some more Japanese talents from New Japan. But here's the stickler, kids. Here's the thing you got to remember. WWE took a long time to do anything with Shinsuke. Long time. So you have to bear that in mind. And Shinsuke, at one point, was at least in the top 3 best in the world. Can you say that about him right now? Right? I don't know, because the way he's been booked, he still has it in him to be that. Obviously, Shinsuke versus Brock Lesnar. It's happened once before in New Japan. It was a long time ago. They were 2 different guys then. Well, Shinsuke was. I would love to see it. I'd like to see anyone beat Brock and not get crushed in the process. Do you know what I mean? Everyone has a weakness. Except for Brock Lesnar. They're going to have to find it. I guess with the Goldberg thing, the statement was kind of made. Well, Lesnar's biggest, weakness is that if you catch him off guard and get his head out of the game, you have the potential to win the match, which Goldberg did, right? I mean, not ultimately, because Brock Lesnar wins every feud ultimately, from John Cena to Triple H to CM Punk to everybody down the line. Because that's what he does, because he's Brock freaking Lesnar, right? But, I'm looking at this, still watching New Japan on my iPad right now, and I like what I see. And I like the United States Championship. I like a lot of their talent. No, I don't like the joke wrestling, but I don't like a lot of the nonsense in WWE either. So I think there's room for improvement on both sides, and I would like to see something become of the 2 teams, or become the 2 sides, become the 2 companies at some point. But I want New Japan to not only succeed, I want them to thrive. I want WWE to thrive. I do. Ring of Honor and even Impact Wrestling, Lucha Underground. I want all these companies to thrive. I want all these boys and girls to make money, because that's the most important thing. To be able to make a living in the sport of professional wrestling says that there's some stability, even if just in that one company. But that could mean stability elsewhere as well. And that's a good thing. If you're a fan of the business, you should be a fan of the business, not just a fan of one company or another. Get over yourself. You should be a pro wrestling fan. That's what you should be. I've soapboxed that 100 times on this show. If I've done it once, you guys know that. That's how I feel. Well, guess what, folks? There's a lot more I want to say about this, but it's been a long week for yours truly. I'm exhausted. My legs kill. And it's time to take this sucker home. What are your comments, questions, words of wisdom, sage bits of advice, or quotes, or monologues on New Japan and WWE? Drop us a line, boinkstudios@yahoo.com. Follow us on Twitter at Boink Studios. You can follow me at Tom Clark BR on Twitter as well. Check out our Facebook page, as the intro to the show says. We post everything there. And if you want links to my work on Bleacher Report, Camel Clutch blog, various other locations, and especially original content, go to boinkstudios.com. Check out our sister podcast, Tom Clark's 30-Minute Fun Show, and Tom Kyle's Comedy Action Hour. Check out all of our content, all of our programming, like you always do. And we do very much appreciate your patronage, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening, as always. We're going to be back real soon with a brand new episode. Brand spanking new episode. Never knew what that meant, by the way. Spanking new. It's a baby, right? Brand spanking new. Because you spank the baby when it... Well, there you go. I've just solved one of the great riddles of life. I told you I'm tired, right? All right, before I spout off any other nonsense, I'm out of here. Thanks again for listening, man. And we will see you next time on Tom Clark's Main Event.